there guys, it's Hybrid. Welcome back. If you're not new, welcome. If you're new, this is my channel. This is a lovely morning here in the Penta Hybrid or something. This video is going to be a bit different. This is going to be a vlog style listitis, if you will. It's going to technically be a listitis episode, but it's going to be a special edition listitis episode. Like, I've done a few of them already this volume. This one is going to be all me because realistically showing videos of the stuff doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to be talking to you about the things that I think. This episode is going to be about the Final Fantasy VII Remake that's going to be coming in the next few years that Square Enix finally announced for everybody at E3 this year. I've been thinking about it for a while and discussing with a few friends, kind of worries that we have about the game and things that we think they need to improve or things they need to not get rid of. And I came up with a list of 10 things, and this is the top 10 things, or at least my 10 things that I think they need to either bring to the remake or fix about the remake. The official title, I have it here, is 10 things the Final Fantasy VII Remake will have to do to avoid being a disappointment. It's a long video, it's a long title, but it was just a working title. And so these are just 10 things I think they need to do or not do in order to be a successful remake that everybody's been wanting for so long. And so let's just jump right into it. Let's just hold back a little bit. Let me give you a little brief history of my experience with Final Fantasy VII. I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time when I was 12 years old. By then the game was already 5 years old. I had just found out that there was even a 7th one because I had been out of Final Fantasy since 6 when I played that on the SNES, which is still my favorite. I'm a hard-learned Final Fantasy 6 fan, and it's very tough to get a Final Fantasy 6 fan away from 6, just as it is to get a 7 fan away from 7 or a 10 fan away from 10. Everybody's got their favorite, and I don't hate anybody for choosing 7 over 6 or 10 over 6 or anything like that. But I believe 6 is the best for my reasons. But my experience with 7 was I didn't much care for their method of storytelling. I didn't much care for the way that they chose to bring the characters to life. Instead of letting you live their choices, it just gave you choices and made you go through this choreographed story. And it was a neat movie-style game, the way they did it. But as a game medium, the 8-bit and 32-bit kind of 16-bit stylings that all the other Final Fantasies before it had were a little more fulfilling to me rather than living somebody else's story. Like 6 was a bit choreographed if you want to argue that, yes, but it also had so many different characters that you had the opportunity to learn about. You didn't have to learn about them. You had the opportunity to dive into their stories if you wanted to. And I thought that was awesome. 7 didn't do that very much. 7 gave you a set amount of characters and force-fed you the story of them. And so my history with 7 is I think it's an inferior follow-up, but as far as the combat system, boss fights, and the materia system goes, I think it stands head over shoulders above most other RPGs, and it's a phenomenal RPG in the world, and is arguably top 10 game of all time, but I will never put it in the top 1 or the top 3 or anything for myself. So let's just jump right into the list and let you know my history with it. These are just things I think they need to do in order to be a successful sequel. Number 10 is basically just be a remake. That's all you need to do. Don't put flashy lights and, sparkly coating on it. Just be a remake. Just take the game, enhance it, make it a little more fleshed out, but don't change anything. And that's what people are so afraid of. And we'll get into a little bit of what the fears are later on in the list, because there's some big fears that a lot of people are having. But pretty much just be a remake. Take the game, remake it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to add anything that you don't need to add. Just remake the game. Number 9 is to don't over dramatize. Is that the word I'm looking for? Dramatize? Don't over dramatize it. Don't make it a theater production, okay? Just make it a good game. Don't take Aerith's death and turn it into this huge thing, which we'll also get into later, which is actually number 6 on my list. And you guys are gonna completely agree with me on this one. For you 7 fans out there, you're gonna completely agree, because this is the biggest fear in the game. But don't over dramatize it. Don't take Aerith's death and blow it out of proportions. Don't make, if you're gonna bring Zack's story into it, don't bring him and make him all why, and just don't make Cloud a whiny little bitch. Just don't ruin the flavor of the game by making it a production. And that's all we really want, is to just have the 7 experience again without having you sprinkle garnish over it. Number 8, keep the humor intact. This is the big one. This is not the big one. This is a big one. Keep the humor intact. And what I mean by that is, if you played 7, you understand what I'm talking about. There are certain scenes in the game, and I won't say what they are. I know it's a, 15, 16-year-old game now? 17-year-old game? I don't even know. It's old. No, it's, holy shit. It's 18 years old. Oh my god. Final Fantasy VII is 18 years old. Holy shit. But I understand it's that old, but I don't want to ruin it for the younger crowd, because there are some people who still haven't played it, and I think that they need to experience it. But the game has a specific humor. There are certain scenes involving dresses and Barrett and Cloud, and there are certain scenes in a bar or a tavern or whatever you want to call it, and there are certain scenes with Tifa. There's certain pervy scenes, and some of Barrett's dialogue is, it's got its own humor to it. That's the thing that people often forget about 7. They see it as this serious Final Fantasy game, and it was a serious game. The story was solid as hell. But there was so much goofiness in that game that people seem to forget. And I want that humor to still be there. Not KJ Inafune, what was his name? Nomura? Nomura? Is it Nomura? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Nomura. The lead designer has already come out and said that the cross-dressing scene is going to be in the remake. So he's already come out and said that, because people were worried that they were going to take that out because of sensitivity issues. But he's already confirmed it's in there, because Japan don't give no fucks. Number 7. This is the big one. This is the big one that's worrying literally everyone. No QTEs, Square. No QTEs. Please, God, keep the QuickTime events out of Final Fantasy VII. I do not want that last fight with Sephiroth being a push button to win thing. I don't want, press F to do this, press X to do this. I don't want QTEs. Unless they're really cleverly done, but there should not be cutscenes with QTEs. If you want a QTE in a game, go for it, but do it cleverly. Just don't have it be like a final boss fight QTE fight. Like, remember Metal Gear Solid 2, when you were fighting Solidus on the top of that roof? That wasn't a QTE fight, that was a bitchin' the last fight. So please, just keep the QTEs out of Final Fantasy VII. Thank you on behalf of the entire fucking fan base. This is a touchy subject, because everybody's speculating that this is going to change, because they have already come out and said they want to change the story a little bit. And when they said that, people got really worried about number 6 on my list, and that is Aerith has to die. She has to die. She cannot live for the story to make sense. Because if you played Crisis Core, if you played Dirge, if you played any of the backstory into Cloud and Zack, and Cloud technically having killed her, and it was his fault that she died, and he felt guilty, and that's why he went after Sephiroth, and Sephiroth and becoming part of... There was just so much convoluted bullshit in the story, but all of it revolves around Aerith dying. She has to die. She can't live. She can't live. Because if she lives, everything... There's no reason for Cloud to go after Sephiroth if she lives. There's no reason. The story ends there. Like, that's ending A, is Aerith lives. Alright, carry on, credits. That's it. So, please don't let that be what you mean by you're gonna change the story. Aerith has to die. I get passionate about that one, because that's one of the finest moments in gaming, because that's actually the turning point of the game. And you don't realize that when you play it when you're a kid. I didn't realize that when I played it as a kid. I was like, oh, she died, man, let's go kill him. When I was older and I played through it again, I was like, okay, I kind of get this now. I kind of get why he's going after him now. And then I played Crisis Core and I was like, this is all about her death. I understand everything now. So Aerith has to die. Aerith has to die, man. That bitch has to die. Anyway, number 5, expanded story included. This is the one thing everybody wants. Everybody wants the Crisis Core backstory included. We don't want exactly the first hour of the game to be Zack backstory, or Zack's story. We don't want it to be introducing him and then move into the train and everything like that. We want the opening of the game to be the same. We want the opening to be Aerith walking out, and then the train, and then the cutscene and all that stuff. We want all of that to be happening. But we want the backstory to be put in there. But like I said, don't over dramatize it. Just put it in there and let people who didn't play the Crisis Core game, or who didn't play Dirge of Cerberus, who don't know Vincent's backstory, put that stuff in the game to assist the people who this is their first time playing Final Fantasy VII. Just put it in there, give them some background so they don't have to play this game and that game and buy a Vita and buy a PSP and all that kind of stuff. Just put the background in there and let it be very easy and digestible for other fans that have yet to play the game for the first time. Number 4, this is my favorite one. Bigger, badder, better Golden Saucer. We want so many more things in that Golden Saucer. With today's technology, with the 360, with the Xbox One and the PS4 and modern PCs, there's so much we can do with that. And by then, we might even have the next gen. Who knows? By the time that game comes out, we might be on the Xbox 2. We might be on the PS5. You know, you never know when it's going to come out. But with modern technology, I want, and many fans want, a bigger, expanded Golden Saucer. We want that casino, that arcade, to be bigger. I'm talking, we want involved chocobo breeding. We want chocobo races, chocobo fights. We want like all the mini games from other Final Fantasy games since 7 came out to be Easter egged into there. Possibly a claw machine that has Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 10 characters that you can collect, maybe. Like, so that's a thing going around in the fan sphere, is, you know, collectibles that are available through that. Like, you can use in-game gil to purchase that stuff. And just a bigger thing, bigger Golden Saucer. Just allow characters and players to go in there and just kill time, because that's what RPGs are supposed to be about. Minigames, side quests, attractions, interactions, and exploration. And that's what the Golden Saucer needs to be in the modern generation. We don't want to go in there, have chocobo breeding in one slot machine. That's not what we want. As the fan base, we expect a place much like Gwent in Witcher 3, much like gambling in the original Fallout games. We want to be able to waste fucking time doing this shit. So that's that one. Yeah, number 3. Added secret bosses. I'm talking more weapons, man. I'm talking more weapons. Give us an Onyx weapon. Give us a freaking Jade weapon. Give us more weapons. Not just the Ruby weapon. We just want all the weapons in the world. Get anything you can and make it a weapon. Because I've never beaten them. So the more there are, the more I feel like I'm okay not beating them. Because secret bosses are awesome in any game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Kurt Zisa and sorry, that was really loud. In Kingdom Hearts, or if it's I think there's a secret Crocomire boss in one of the Metroid games. I don't remember which Metroid game it was, but there's a secret Crocomire boss. Is it Super Metroid? It's not Super Metroid. Anyway, more secret bosses, very much so. Give us more secret bosses. Number 2. Except for number 1. Number 1 and number 2 are pretty interchangeable for their spot, but number 2 is an expanded materia system. Materia was phenomenal. There's no doubt about that. Materia was phenomenal, and it hasn't gotten much better since 7. It's gotten okay. It was okay in 10. People really liked it in 10, but in 7, and that was the orb system, not really the materia system, but it was a similar system. But the materia system in 7 needs to be reevaluate it. They need to pull it from its blueprint and just reevaluate it and make it modern. And that's all we need. We need it to be deep. We need it to be expanded. We need branching spiral paths. We need collectibles that enhance your abilities like there were, except we need more of them because there's going to be a bigger world, I hope. I hope all of the world is going to be explorable, or exploratable. Fuck it, we'll use that as a word. And just give us something new, you know, but not different. Not like bad different. Give us a good different, because there are a lot of people out there who played the game to death and will still know the materia system if you use the same materia system. Do not rehash the materia system. Pull it from the ground up, rebuild it, refinance it, just make it fresh for all of us fans that go back in there and say, holy shit, this is so cool, it's different, I like different, but it's a good different, you know, stuff like that. And the number one thing that they need to do in the Final Fantasy VII Remake to avoid being a disappointment, fucking deep and engaging chocobo system. My god, am I the only one who that was the best part of Final Fantasy VII, was the chocobo breeding and racing? Am I the only one? It's kind of like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, where, you know, the only reason I really played that game was because of the chow breeding. Like, it's so satisfying to just spend this amount of time and get such a reward out of it, because you can fight the ruby weapon over and over and over again and die. Like, you can do that all you want. But if you spend the time and the effort and the God knows how much money making this guy as perfect as you can, and then you just fly through those races and make everybody else in the dust, it feels so good. It feels really good. And so I want a deep and engaging and expanded chocobo system for the Golden Saucer, and for maybe even outside the Golden Saucer. Who knows if it's outside the Golden Saucer or not? But we just want bigger, better, badder chocobos. Like, that's what we want. Chocobo armor, man. Armor bow. Anyway, those are my 10 things that I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake needs to do to avoid being a disappointment. Comment down below letting me know what you think they need to do to avoid being a disappointment, and of course, what you think about what I said. I'm not speaking for the entire fan base. Something just happened. I'm not speaking for the entire fan base, mind you. I'm just speaking for myself mainly, and a couple of other choice people that I've talked to about this, because this has been a big discussion. When that trailer first showed at E3, people were talking, and people were talking about what they were scared of happening. QTEs and story changes were some of the bigger question marks, and QTEs was actually an exclamation point, if you will. It's just one of those things where you're so excited that it's happening, but at the same time you're anxious because it is happening. And with all the remakes that have come out, there have been a handful that were actually better than the original. And this is one that needs to be better than the original, or Square's going to fall flat on their face, because this is a relentless fan base. I'm not even a big Final Fantasy VII fan, but I will be purchasing whatever system it comes out on just so I can play it, because reliving it in a modern day, like, I want my nephew's 8 years old, 9 years old. I want my nephew, 9 years old? 8 years old. He's 8 years old. I want my nephew, is he 8? Fuck. I gotta remember, shit. 2007. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 8 years old, damn it. He's 8. I want him to play the remake and be able to live Final Fantasy VII for the first time and not be so far-fetched from the original one, because as much as I like 6, 7 was such a good game, and people need to experience it. So thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the me if you enjoy me and want to support me in making better videos for you. And as always, keep on gaming. My name is Pentahybrid, and I will catch you later.